Hi guys, welcome back to Canary Cast. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you stay bang up to date. Right, we haven't done many previews recently, but we've got a big game on Friday night at the Liberty, Swansea Norwich. So we thought we'd draft in Tom from Total Swans TV to help us do a bit of a preview. We're going to get his views on Swansea, of course, and a bit on Norwich. And then me and Jake are going to talk about the last couple of games and what we're expecting to see Friday. So, Tom, I think where I'll start is, are you surprised to be sitting second at the minute? You could, of course, be third the time the game comes about because of the Brentford game tonight, but are you surprised to be in those automatic spots at this time?
Start of the season predictions, I had us to finish fifth, just inside the playoffs, one better position than we did last season. Was hoping that we, progress from the end of season momentum we had by getting into the playoffs, missing out, to Brentford in the playoff semi-final. Hoping that momentum could bring us forward to this season, and it's done pretty well. We're sitting second in the league. We've got one of the tightest defenses in the country. It is a shock. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely come as a welcomed shock to be sitting second in the table after 26, 27 games. But I think majority of Swans fans, I don't think we would have seen us in the top two for this sort of period of time, and certainly at this stage of the season. As you say, we started the season pretty well. Just a little while to get up into the top two, sort of top three positions, but we've maintained that, over the last few weeks, and we're looking good. Certainly looking good for a playoff finish, that's for sure. I mean, I think we're easily 10 points clear of dropping out with the playoffs, which is only a handful of games. Can easily happen, as we've seen with Forest and their end of season run last year. But definitely surprised, yeah, but very, very happily surprised and glad to be sat second in the table.
I'm sure. You mentioned the tight defence. I mean, the recent run of games, you're picking up good results. You've even taken points off of Watford, Bournemouth, etc. How confident are you heading into Friday? Are you expecting a win?
I'm confident every single time the Swans step out onto the pitch. Even the 7 seasons in the Premier League, you look at the fixtures at the start of the season, you pick out a handful of games which you could possibly win, but you have that fan mentality of, you on the day, anybody, your team, you back your team, you think they can beat the opposition. It'll be good if it's still a top of the table clash on Friday night. Obviously, we know Brentford are playing Wednesday night against Bristol, so hopefully they can do us both a bit of a favour there and try and keep the pace off us. But yeah, I'm confident. I always back the Swans. We're looking really, really strong at the moment, especially defensively, which is clear for everyone to see. But also going forward with the additions that we brought in the January transfer window, like Hourihane, he's really integrated into the team. He's offered something different going forward. The set pieces have improved tenfold. So, especially with the sort of the lineup you guys may have Friday night with obviously the suspension of Buendia. Thankfully, that carries over. Yes, that's a bit of a blessing, but he's been instrumental for you guys, and he's been the difference in a majority of games this season. Certainly, picking up points and performance-wise, he's been the difference for you guys. So hopefully, with a player of his caliber on Friday missing, it gives us a little bit more confidence going into the game. It won't be an easy one, as no game is in the Championship, but yeah, confident going into the game for sure. It'd be a tough affair, but I think Norwich are there for the taking on Friday.
Yeah. You mentioned Conor Hourihane there, Jake. I'm kind of going to come to you quickly on this. Are you looking forward to facing up against him again?
Not again. Every time he scores, I swear I'm going to stick a cheeky cheddar on him to score any time, to be fair, because he's a very good player at this level. I was just going to ask you, Tom, actually. Me and Joe were so impressed when we beat you 1-0 at Carrow Road, because, to be fair, you probably should have had 3 or 4 if Jamal Lowe had his shooting boots on. I'd say probably this season, you guys are the only ones that we've kind of beaten where we go, okay, we've got away with that one. I was just going to ask, goals is probably the only thing for going forward. Is the new additions with the likes of Hourihane kind of, is that making the difference now, do you think? Because before it was kind of seemed like 1-0s, clean sheets with the first base, and then scoring goals was just the odd one there, here and there. Is that the main difference of the new addition, really?
Well, I think an immediate impact of Hourihane coming into the team was evident. We've scored 3 goals in the league for the first time this season, and we scored 3 goals plus for back-to-back games, obviously for the first time this season as well, beating Forest, which was Horahan's first game in the midfield. And then, as you say, last time out, then another good performance from him, and another 3 goals in the back of the opposition's net. So, yeah, definitely an immediate impact. You can see the sort of attacking intent that Connor has. We have probably struggled, as you say. 2-0 has been probably the most comprehensive and consistent scoreline for the Swans this season. We've ground out so many, 1-0, 2-0 results, a couple of 1-0s in there, a couple of 1-alls, but it's going well. In front of goal, we probably could be a little bit more prolific and click on with our chances. As you say, the first fixture at your guys' place earlier on in the season, if Jamal Lowe had his shoot boots on, which he's had on throughout, December and January, we probably could have won that fairly comfortable, to be fair. I mean, other than the goal, Norwich didn't really offer too much in front of goal, threatening Freddie Woodman. But as you say, another day, another pair of boots on, it could have been a different scoreline.
What are you expecting in terms of the team, Tom? Is it going to be an unchanged team from Rotherham? You mentioned that goal scoring form you're going through at the minute. Is that sort of a cause not to change the team? Is it going to be an unchanged lineup?
I would presume so. I mean, I didn't see Norton playing the other night against Brentford, to be fair, but he slotted in that defensive position because Bennett wasn't quite fit enough. But he came back in against Rotherham, settled the ship a bit better. Again, like I say, a no-nonsense defender. He does a brilliant job of keeping that back line as strong as they are, especially being the most experienced player in that back line. But yeah, certainly, I think with the additions that we have had, I think it'll be very interesting on Friday night to see what how prolific we can be in front of goal and see if we can take our chances.
Sorry, Joe, I was just going to interrupt. Right. If you could pick, probably, I know it's difficult because you've got so many talented players, but 1-2 who you'd say Norwich fans need to look out for, or Norwich players as well. Who would you say would be the main 1 or 2?
Our attacking players aren't super prolific this season. They aren't taking their chances when they come to them. In some games that has been the case. We've had only a few opportunities at goal and we've made the most of those opportunities. But for me, it's definitely our wing backs, Bidwell and Roberts. They're that additional men in midfield. They're always there to cover. One of them is there to cover the 3 at the back. Split, they fall in. The formation works really well. As soon as those 2 players go forward, the back 3 sort of the 2 of them step forward. One of them being Bidwell, Bennett would stay back a little bit as that holding defender, and you sort of step up. The formation flows as well in the attack. So Bidwell and Roberts down those flanks are very, very dangerous. Roberts is just a workhorse, just does not stop running all game. Has good pace about him as well. Very, very good delivery and knows where the back of the net is. It's the same as Bidwell. On the opposite side, again, his crosses are pretty decent. We're getting goals from them. But also, his actual goal contributions as well for a left back is pretty decent this season. And that adds to the attack with Jamal Lowe and Andre Ayew then having a bit more creative freedom, a bit more of a free role. You'll find one of them on the wing, one of them right in the centre, but neither of them are an out-and-out 9. So with those wing backs integrating into midfield and then through into the attack, for me, I usually tend to warn opposition, fans and about Roberts and Bidwell for sure. They definitely, for me, probably are our 2 best attacking options this season, which is quite surprising.
Yeah. You alluded to it earlier a bit about us not having Emi Buendia. That is a massive blow for us, I'm not going to lie. But who else in the Norwich team are you aware of? Like, who are you scared of, if you like?
Cantwell on his day, a very talented player. Not one I saw sticking around for championship appearances, if I'm honest. Probably, well, I think a lot of fans assumed that he would have probably been one of the first people out of the door of Carrow Road this season, start of the season, but he stuck around. Same as us, Andre Ayew sticking around. Somebody who probably could have easily had a move abroad, at least maybe to the Premier League as backup, maybe. But again, Pukki, if he's on form, a very dangerous player. And I believe Vrancic, if he plays, because I had him in my dream team, but again, he's rotated quite a bit. But a very good player. And obviously Hanley in defence, a very strong defensive player, a lot bags of experience. So again, you've got some good players. Max Aaron's very dangerous attacking threat as well, and you've got Tim Krul, who's basically got you the 3 points, as well as Jamal's non-accurate shooting boots. But yeah, you've got one of the strongest, and certainly one of the strongest depth squads in the Championship, which is, I believe, why you're still top of the table at the moment, because when you've had key players out, you've had good replacements to come in for them. And it's surprising to see how, when you look at our bench, more often than not, we've got 2 or 3 players from the unders on there at the moment. Whether that's due to injury or, we are integrating players into the starting 11. Yeah, we haven't quite got the same strength in depth as Norwich and some of the teams in this league.
Okay. All that leaves then is a score prediction, Tom. What do you fancy?
Going off of recent performances for both sides and results, I'm going to go for a very edgy 2-1 Swansea. I don't think it's going to be an easy affair. I don't think we're going to quite keep a clean sheet as much as I'd love to. But it'll be interesting, as I say, without Buendia in that midfield running the show. It'll be interesting to see, what we can do to take advantage of that. So hopefully the Swans come away with the 3 points and try and close that gap on you guys at the top with a game in hand.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. But thanks so much for joining us, Tom. Notice that you're nearly at 1K on YouTube as well. So congrats to that when it finally arrives. If you're a Swansea fan, you've come across this, you're not watching Tom, please go subscribe, get him to a K. That'd be great. But thanks for joining us, Tom. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Brilliant stuff. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so we've heard from Tom. We've got our Swansea preview. Me and Jacob, we will get on to Friday night, of course. But first, we feel like we need to discuss a few topics concerning Norwich at the minute. We obviously got Warnocked on Saturday at home. Didn't have a shot on target. Millwall was better. But Jacob, it wasn't great, mate, the last week, was it?
It's just, I think we've said this. We've not been getting on the train. We've said so many times that we've edged games. We've played well in a couple. I'd say dominated a couple. And Middlesbrough, we have the chance with Vrancic, which we've scored previously. We win that 1-0 if we scored, obviously. We look, again, defensively really solid, but the red card changes the game, obviously, but I don't think we would have scored for a month Sundays, even if Femi Buendia's on the pitch, to be honest with you.
He wasn't having a good game.
No, I don't think he's played well. Probably one game, Barnsley, at home since January. So since the turn of the new year, for me, he's not played well, which is a concern. He hasn't scored or assisted in 5 games. But, we don't even have to worry about him at the moment. Millwall, Pukki has the chance. And for me, Team Pukki's not right. 2 years ago, he scores that chance against Millwall. There's lack of conviction, like we were saying to each other last night on the chat. It was so slow, slow.
I've never seen him hit 2 poor shots, Jacob. Like the first one, you're right, so slow. You knew the defender was going to slide in, get your shot off. And the second attempt with his left foot, what was the point of it? Like,
maybe the expectations are high. Maybe we've put him up to such a pedestal. I know he scored 29 2 years ago. And every time he went in, he's like, right, don't even need to look. We can look away or even stand up and celebrate. He's done. Scored goal. I think the amount of games he's played in the last, with Bromby as well, 3-4 years have caught up with him, and Finland, obviously, and obviously Norwich. I think they've caught up with him. He just looks at the injuries, the niggles, the side strains, the hamstrings, the blah-de-blah-de-blah, the toe last year. It all just seems to have caught up with him. And again, we're so reliant. We didn't bring a forward in. Jordan Rose scored last night. That's all I'm saying. Adam Eder is not tried and tested at this level. He doesn't even come on up front last night. He comes on the wing.
And it was for 8 minutes or something?
And I think, I didn't think I'd be saying this, I think we really missed Hugo in the last 2 games just to give us a different dynamic. Like, it's just plan A, isn't it? And we've said it so many times. Like, it's frustrating because I don't think Max Aarons is fully at it at the minute. Again, high levels. I think Janulis is going to take quite a while to get sorted.
Yeah.
I think that's going to take and at the moment, don't really have time for someone to adapt. To be harsh, potentially bring back Jacob Sorensen in. We'll go on to the team later. But for me, he's not ready. And that's fine. Maybe he needs a few training sessions, or maybe he does need the games to get into it. But looked. I thought there was a pen last night which he could have gave away easily. I think if you go up against him or Roberts at the weekend and any right winger right now, again, I'd put pressure on him because he doesn't look defensively ready for this level yet. It's frustrating because we're getting caught up now. You know, Brentford and Swansea are coming, and they will not stop. I don't think. You know, they've got the goals of Tony for Brentford. Swansea just defensively, 15 goals conceded as we speak. Bloody formidable. This is going to be a grind. We know the Championship's a grind, but for me, we have to kind of think of a different way of plan A. Overlaps of fullbacks to wingers. Plaheta cutting in last night with no overlap for McDarren's. It's a blanket. How many times have we said, mate, throw a blanket over it, and it's easy to defend, especially if you've got back five like Millwall did. And at the minute, we just don't look like we're going to score.
I think we also need to discuss the number 10 role because we keep paying Mario Vrancic in it, and I've got absolutely no problem. No, it's not. I've got absolutely no problem with Mario Vrancic. Great player, playing further back. I don't think he's a 10. Steepman has not really been at it for about a year and a half. Dowell, all right, he hasn't really had a run of games, but I mean, he nearly cost us the game the other night. He was only on the pitch 5 minutes. We
need someone, and I don't know if this is Kenny McLean, because he hasn't been given the opportunity there, to be able to beat a couple of men. Because it's so pass based, isn't it? Everything's a pass. Skip and Rupp can actually do it, but from 40, 30 yards out, they have no idea how to attack, which is fine because that's not really their job. They are the pivots. They are there to defend. That's actually why we're so solid, because athletically they are brilliant in there, aren't they? In terms of just how quickly they can recover the ball. But going forward, you can look at Skip and Rupp, either one, 35 yards out from the goal. They don't know what to do with it because that's not their role. So, okay, either you bring in a Jacob Sorensen, who does look very smart when he's going forward. You'll be seeing it from left back. Seems to have a little bit more about him. Does he have the pace of a Rupp or a Skip? I'm not sure. Or you give Kenny a go, because Kieran Dow for me is I'm going to be harsh because he's not injured. He's not the one. There's a reason why he was at Everton, didn't work out. There's a reason why he's been on loan to 4 or 5 Championship clubs. It's because he's not there. He's like a Stiepermann, but without the kind of gangly elements that get him around the pitch. He'll score a worldie every now and again, but for me, the quality of football is just not there. So that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Give Kenny a go potentially and drop Mario back. Mario can't play in that number 10 role. No. I pray to God we don't see it against Swansea, because he'll start becoming the scapegoat. Because he keeps dropping deep, doesn't he? Keep dropping deep, and then you just have that huge gap where Pukki, whilst we criticise the chance he had, what's Team Pukki going to do? Well, I've seen so many times he's got his back to goal. That's not where he wants to be. He wants to have a 10 there so he can be on the shoulder and in behind. That's why we're not stretching these defences in behind, because Pukki's having to drop deep for the ball or back to goal, and that's just not the way to go.
January's gone. We can't address it in the transfer market. So what do? I personally think we need a 10 that will carry the ball, cover distance with the ball at his feet. I think the best solution for that within the squad is Emi Buendia. Maybe Todd Cantwell. Thoughts?
I completely agree. I think if you go and potentially just a little bit more direct, if you're going to use a Plaheta, I know he's been scapegoated a lot. We are not using Shemenswar Plaheta correctly. He has got, what's his one thing? His one massive thing is pace.
His only thing, No, seriously, like,
for
I'm
now, yes,
sticking on that.
I think he'd be a lot more effective if you use him properly. I know teams drop deep. So either use him as an overlap and get him in behind and turn the teams. We've got to turn teams quicker, mate, especially on the counter. We've been so ineffective on the counter-attack.
There was a situation last night where Mario received the ball sort of, 30, 35 yards out from our own goal. Plenty of space in front of us, a couple of players in front of him. You just think, right, come on, they've got men forward, let's counter. And just sideways pass, Rupp, Skip, Mario. I just think, lads, get it forward. You're away from home for a start.
Yeah, it's so, this system is so intrinsically linked in with the players now, isn't it? Where we'll take our time, we'll pass our way up to the pitch. But you know what? Sometimes you do need something different. If you go, and again, 10 minutes for the likes of Onel last night, 1-2 minutes for Ida, they're not going to make any difference at that time. Let's be honest. They need 20, 25 minutes to make a difference. And it's just not happening at the moment. We need to sort our game out and play to our players' strengths if we're going to play them. Plaheta on the right-hand side, cutting in and shooting is not going to work because at the moment he can't shoot. And if you're going to have him cutting in, have someone on the overlap who he can pass to, which again we don't have. So he's cussing in with the ball where everyone is anyway, and we wonder why we don't play the perfect pass to go in. The one time we had the chance was when on probably the overturn, when we won the ball back, took it forwards, played because he had space. Pukki was like, finally, I've got someone almost in that number 10 position who plays it through. I'm on the shoulder, I'm in, should score. But that's the only way we've done it. We need to be so much smarter. And it's frustrating because it won't ever change. This is the Daniel Farke system. He's been a wonderful, wonderful coach. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We have said this many a time. There's no plan B. And when this isn't working, this is what you get.
You wouldn't think we're top of the league, would you?
Yeah, and let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, it's 2 defeats in 23 games.
Yeah.
So we're just expecting high standards, aren't we? I think it's all right to be disappointed from last night. Maybe not as negative, but disappointed because for the last couple of games, the games were there for the taking. So that's the frustration.
Okay, then let's talk about Friday. How do you see it going? I wasn't looking forward to the Borough or Millwall games. I mean, when the fixtures came out, you and me both looked at this week and thought, don't fancy that. That's very Championship. But after having watched both those games, I'm now really not looking forward to Swansea, personally.
And how informed Swansea are, with the recruitment that they've brought in. They brought in a Hurahan. They've seen a weakness there, which you could say Norwich have not identified. You've seen a weakness and gone, that's where we need to fill. Hurahan comes in. Assists and goals have come their way. Like Tom was saying, they've scored more than 3 goals against Forest, won 5-1, beat Rotherham 3-1 because of these changes. Hurahan starts in both. Is that a coincidence? I don't really think so, mate. And this is a team that defensively is wonderful. I was impressed with Millwall last night because we didn't really stretch them. But bloody hell, Swansea have conceded 15 goals in 26 games.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Yeah,
they are on average to absolutely smash the record for least goals conceded. They are brilliant at that. We need to look at the weaknesses of the likes of Ryan Bennett and get in behind. We just need to be so much quicker in behind and just stop with the ponderous football because we will lose this game on Friday, which is a huge game if we don't quicken up our play. We did for Leeds. I remember Leeds away when we played very quick passing, didn't we? We got out of that press very quickly. Swansea won't be that pressing kind of style. They'll let us have the ball. But we really need to kind of get in behind and use those weaknesses of the likes of Ryan Bennett or Carl Norton, the older one of the back three, who lacks pace, who has a mistake in him. We need to really hone in on a weakness of the team and go in on that.
Yeah, agreed. All right, predictions. What do you fancy?
Do I be honest? I'm going to go with my Norwich green and yellow just because I can and say 1-0 Norwich. In reality, I'd be very surprised if that happens. But yeah, 1-0 Norwich, but I'm not sure. Are you?
We're going to lose 2-0.
That's a positive. Oh, well.
I hope I'm wrong. I really, honestly, genuinely hope I'm wrong. But it's been a poor week. I can't really see us scoring. We've got no Emmy. Pukki looks off it. So where are we going to score from?
This is where characters are made. This is all I'm saying. Everyone's going to write them off now. Hopefully Daniel Farke is saying that as well. Yeah. Let's be honest, Swansea are favourites right now. Haven't had a midweek game. This is where the characters come in. This is where the Zimbo batters down them and says, right, let's not lose this. Because this is a must-not-lose game. Let's be fair. These boys, Brentford and Swansea, are coming very close now.
Yeah. Game in hand as well, Swansea.
Momentum can switch like that in the Championship. Let's be fair. And to have a negative momentum is not the one. So I'd be very, very keen on not losing this game. A draw is a terrific result.
Yeah, I would probably take that now. I'll be honest. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen on Friday and what you've thought of the last couple of games. Let us know in the comments or over on Twitter, whatever you prefer. But thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Cheers.